Hey, it's Owen and Happy, and today we're going to take a look at the ACME Opticom Model XLA-3 mono optical compressor. ACME is a company started by audio engineer Al Sutton out of Detroit, USA. Back in 2010, the Opticom was his first mass-produced piece of equipment. In the preceding time, he's made a whole realm of vintage Motown-inspired outboard pieces, from EQs to DIs to preamps. The Opticom itself has been so successful, it's also inspired a 500 series version and a plugin, and today we're working with the MK3 rack version. Optical compressors are an early design in the scheme of compressor history. And with Opticom based sort of around the legendary LA-2A, let's have a very quick look at the history of this style of compressor. The optical compressor was invented by radio technician Jim Lawrence in the late 1950s as a way to control the amount of signal he had going to air. He discovered an approach to limiting audio signal using the optical sensor cells he'd worked with in the military in the design of the Titan missile. He founded the Teletronics company and made the T4 photoelectric sensor and put it inside his new design, the LA-2, which shortly after became the LA-2A. The Opticom doesn't rely on the old school methods used in the T4 sensor. Instead of an electroluminescent panel triggering a cadmium sulfide light-dependent resistor, we've got a much faster, more modern take. This time, you're not stuck with the older, single speed of an LA-2A, and instead it's 3 pairs of modern cadmium selenide photocells, one set for each of the circuit speeds, slow, normal, and fast. It's a beautiful utilitarian green unit, reflecting the military spec switches and knobs within. Across the back, it's kind of set up like a Pultec EQ, in that the valves are accessible for changing across here, and it's better ventilated too. Guess that you've got to be careful reaching into the back of your racks. There's 3 12AT7s and a single 12BH7 tube back here, and I haven't quite figured out where each lies in the signal chain just yet. There's also a Cinemag transformer on the input and a triad transformer on the output. Across the front, it's an incredibly simple unit for operation. An input gain knob that controls how hard you push your source into compression, and an output gain knob for makeup. Between these, we've got a response switch for fast, normal, or slow speeds. Over to the left, you can switch it to stereo link if you've got a pair of these, and toggle between the input and output monitoring on this pretty VU, whilst the other VU is always gain reduction. And to the right here, we've got a switch for selecting between in, bypass, or out, and a third setting for using this thing just as an amplifier, skipping the compression section completely. As it's an optical compressor, it's a little non-linear and curvy. That's kind of why you'd reach for this sort of unit. It's definitely got character and control, and that's probably what you're expecting. Slow is a little more mellow, flapping way behind the transient. Normal is faster and more squishy colored, and fast really imparts some beautiful harmonic character onto whatever you run into this box. The manual describes the tones pretty poetically, with the slow setting having smooth highs, fat mids, foggy lows, medium having leveled highs, pumped mids, blurry lows, and fast sounding like hammered highs, leathery mids, and distorted lows. Today on camera, I'm going to get Radi to play acoustic guitar through it so we can get a taste of how it treats that type of material. Take a listen. there we have it, the ACME Opticom Model XLA-3. A vintage-inspired modern take on the optical compressor, kind of like a turbocharged LA2A with a rich harmonic sound. It's not going to completely beat the front end of your transients down, but anything you run into it is going to be thicker and sweeter with a nice old school harmonic charm. Now, these things aren't cheap, but they do sound great. They retail for around $4,200 Australian. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time for more stuff.